In today's video, I want to talk about how to get a warmer and fuller sound on the saxophone. And this is sort of a continuation of a video I released a few months ago that was all about how to master your saxophone sound with airflow. So make sure you watch that as well. I left a link at the end of this video and also down below. In that video, I show you exactly my long tone technique that will help you develop a much rounder and better sound of the saxophone. But today's video, I actually want to talk about specific techniques that will help you get a richer sound and even help you with the projection to get a fatter, warmer, thicker sound on the saxophone, and how to actually practice it so that you can combine a good air support with a strong embouchure, and how to actually start adding nuances with your embouchure on your throat. And of course, it all starts with air support, right? And how you can combine those three elements to start shaping your sound and creating more colors in with the saxophone. This is something really, really important that's going to enhance your expressiveness on the horn. And the first thing I want to talk about is the yawning technique. And this is something that really helps you a lot because, you know, it all starts from air support. So make sure to watch the previous video about airflow, because that's number one. You need a good and proper airflow. And in that video, I show you a step-by-step technique on how you can practice your airflow even without your horn, because it's really important. But then the second thing, after you have a really good support with your stomach air and you have the three layers full of air, avoiding shallow air, but actually getting a nice deep breath, it's almost like the next part or the next thing to think about is the throat. What's going to happen here? This is a mediator, a channeler. So whatever's happening on your throat will influence the sound. So think about it as a filter or a preamp of your sound. You know how there are preamps with microphones and help enhance the sound. In the same way, this is sort of your preamp. So whatever you do in your yawning or in your throat is going to help and shape the sound of your saxophone. The first technique I want to show you is a yawning technique. You know, when you're yawning, you open up your throat. It's almost like you can pretend you're going to talk like this really low, and you know how you have to open everything up. And when you yawn, everything really, you expand your throat. You're going to think about that, and then you're going to practice with really good support and soft. You're going to practice a yawning and just pay attention to what that does to your sound. So I'm going to start with not doing it first, and then I'm going to gradually do the yawning effect. Just pay attention. Let me play a little passage. This is without it. Now with it. So many times there's not like a gigantic difference, but you can hear there's like an added depth to the color. I really love to do this just because I feel it adds more confidence in my playing, like I'm structuring the air a little more. And you're going to notice a difference when you record different things like ballads and things like that, especially if you're playing soft. Sort of get that nice, like, I almost like to think of it as a little filter to add some extra lower end to the horn and to my sound. It's very subtle, but it helps a lot. And again, if you combine it with good airflow, it's going to help your confidence. It's almost like you're warming up the air even more, right? And also when you play a little louder as well, it will help a lot. Okay, that's one, the yawning. And then the second one is in the embouchure. So this is at the end. To me, the embouchure comes really at the end. A lot of people obsess about the perfect embouchure. It doesn't exist. And the main reason is that we'll have a different internal embouchure. Like for instance, I have my lower jaw put back. So by definition, you know, I have to compensate. This is why probably the reason I use a very high tip openings. I use a 9-star here in my signature, Saya signature mouthpiece here. So 9-star, and I use a Boston Sax number 2 size. So you have to play around with that. And there's not a perfect setup. Of course, you need to follow what, first of all, the kind of sound you're chasing and you're looking for. And second, very important, is you need to understand how you are built, how your internal embouchure is. And with proper airflow, and if you watch the previous video about how to master your airflow, it's going to help you identify that and do exercises to train your airflow. From airflow, everything else comes later. So a lot of people obsessed with embouchure and do weird things. I see students doing weird things with their embouchure and they have a bad airflow, and this is why nothing will work. You need to start on the core, which is the airflow. Then from there, you can start shaping like with a bypass filter, like the yawning effect, or just try things with your throat to warm up the air. Now with the embouchure, you can do a lot of things to shape. Now you have, let's say, think of it this way. You have a perfect airflow. Now the air, you can control the velocity, which I also show you on the other video, all with your air, right? Now you have a nice filter here, your throat. You can do yawning effect or other things that you can do to expand this, warm up the air, right? Almost like when you're talking like this. You can think about that, all right? And then at the end, you have your embouchure. Now, things you will do here will affect the sound, of course, but with a proper airflow, you can now do proper vibrato, you can do bends, and you can do a technique I'm going to show you now, which is something that I grabbed from Dexter Gordon, which is thickening up the sound using your embouchure and kind of like opening up a little more to get a more like potent, almost like nastier saxophone sound, which can be really, really useful and prettier, especially when you're playing stronger, or even if you play soft and you want a lot of intensity. That's what I'm going to show you today. But now you can figure out, you can listen to great players and figure out a lot of nuances that you can do. Okay, so this is how that works. And you're going to pay attention to what I'm going to do. I'm going to play the middle G here. Look. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up so that the sound's going to be like, it's just going to have this, I'm going to use the throat and everything, but it's going to open up almost like get this crunchy effect. Look. Right? So basically what I'm doing, I'm starting with my embouchure like this, then I'm pushing a little bit and I'm letting the air. It's just by shaping my embouchure, I'm releasing the air in a different way. So it's almost like adding an extra punchiness and brightness. Now, this can only work with good airflow, because if you don't have good airflow and you're just shallow breathing, it's not going to work. Like, you're going to end up with those kind of like messy sounds. So you need good airflow so that everything sounds controlled, right? And that I love that. I call it the Dexter Gordon sort of bend, because he would do it a lot, I would call it the Dexter Gordon sort of bend, It sort of have this punchy, crunchy sound. Without it, where so you see, it's almost adds this additional nasally sound, but it's pretty cool, and it can add a lot of depth to your sound. It's all just by adjusting the embouchure a little bit. And you can try certain things once you have good airflow and you have like everything, like your throat's helping with the, filtering the sound. Then with your embouchure, you can try all sorts of things, right? You can try now different types of vibrato. Vibrato can be a beautiful thing, but you need to do it with a good airflow and good support. So I'm kind of applying that technique there and adding a few bends. Even the bending and vibrato, all of the nuances you do with your embouchure are worthless without a good airflow and air support. Because imagine it's water, right? And you have like, you're turning on the water sink, right? The water's flowing. But imagine if there's like clots in the pipes, and all of a sudden the water is kind of coming out like very, very sort of soft. And then you want to put a filter to that to get a strong, whatever effect you're going to do to the water. It's not going to work out because your water flow is not working. The same with air. If you have airflow that is just like not constant, whatever you do with it is going to mess up the sound. Because this, again, the saxophone, the sound of this instrument is produced by air, not by anything else. It's not actually by your embouchure or by anything else. It's the vibration of the reed that is caused by your air, the airflow, and the reed vibration produces the sound. This is why it's useless to obsess so much with setup. Like a lot of people like to change mouthpiece all the time and try different things because it really comes from you. And then what you need to do is the other way around. You need to figure out your sound and get good technique and then find a setup that adjusts to your needs. You don't go and chase a setup. Believe me, I used to do that. A lot of people do, like, follow the shiny object, the shiny mouthpiece. Just work on your airflow. The more you work on your air, the better this will sound. I'm working on it a lot now, even more, because I used to do it a lot back at Berkeley and then I stopped, and now I'm practicing that more, because I want to practice. I want to get the best possible sound, and the best, when I have a good air support, I feel so confident with my horn. Like, it doesn't matter how many hours I practice. If there's a day that I feel tired, I didn't sleep well, I didn't eat well, that will affect, because a physical instrument, it will affect my airflow, and then I feel like play like shit. Like, it's just what it happens. Like, I don't play good at all, or even if I do, I don't feel comfortable. But if I'm well rested, I ate really good, I grab my horn, I breathe properly, I feel like I'm invincible, even if my technique is not like, super proficient over a tune, but at least I know my sound is there. My sound and my confidence there. So it's really important to work on that. So that was just a little nuance that you can do. But again, once you start with airflow, then you can use your throat as a little filter to enhance the sound. It's not going to be that noticeable, but to you, it's going to enhance how you feel your sound, because a lot of it comes from how you feel as you play. And then, only then, you can start. In fact, your embouchure will be super effective, because once you have a good airflow, you don't even need to do anything like big movements on your embouchure. Just, for example, a vibrato with a good airflow, it's instantly going to show up. Even those bends are super hard if you don't have a good airflow, but because my air is there, you can move the air easily once it's flowing, right? So you got to think about it that way. Now, going back to that, to finish off, that Dexter Gordon sort of fattening of the sound is just, you got to open your mouth a little bit more with a good airflow to get that. That's kind of the opposite, right? Without it and with it. It mainly works for the lower range. You can still do it on the higher range, but it's mainly for all the lower range of the horn. But you see, you get this very punchy sound, which it could be ugly if used on the wrong context, right? You got to know where to use it. But if you're playing something fast, you can add this crunchiness just with your embouchure, but with good airflow and stuff like that. Okay, so that's just a few things to fatten your saxophone sound. Now, that last one is on the louder side, but remember, all of these things need to be practiced soft first. Soft is really the key to a good sound. So even if you're practicing with a good airflow and things like that, it's really the opposite of subtone, right? You saw my sound broke a little bit there, so it's hard to do, but it just can give an extra punch to an extra depth to your sound. Now, then the final one, the other one you can do is the opposite, which is subtone, and a lot of people talk about this, and is one of the most used techniques on the saxophone, the modern saxophone, right? It's really, because this is an instrument where the low notes sound hunky by nature. It's hard to play low notes really soft. Unless you do subtone, of course. In the classical world, it's really not used a lot. But in jazz, it's just that beautiful, lush sound. Subtone means under the tone. You're basically relaxing. And again, you need extremely good air support to relax enough to kind of go under the tone and get this airy, beautiful, lush low notes. It only really has a big effect below the G. Above the G, subtone doesn't have a big effect, really. It's really for those low notes to get that. If you combine it with the techniques I've showed you today, Love the subtone like eats up all my air, and I'm sitting down. I like to do this standing up usually because I get a better airflow. But you see, this is just a few techniques I wanted to show you. I'll do more videos about it. If you like this video, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications. I post a video like this every single Tuesday. Please leave in the comments what would you like to see next. And if you have any questions about this video, I know sound is a very subjective thing, but there are things you can do on the saxophone. And remember, anything you do with a saxophone, you can personalize your own techniques, but make sure you get a good airflow. With a good airflow, that's like a must. It's not a subjective thing. This is an instrument where sound gets created by air. So you need a good airflow, a good air support, and then the rest will start adjusting itself because you got to pay attention with your ear. What am I hearing? How can I do that with my mouth and embouchure? Some people might do it different. Like I mentioned, I have a specific embouchure where my lower jaw is really pushed back. That means, I'm compensating because my teeth are really like this, right? So I need to like adjust a bit and compensate probably why I use a bigger tip opening. So you might not work for you. Like for me, I cannot play anything less than a 7 star. I can't. It's really hard for me. Could be because of my internal embouchure. So again, you need to find your place. You need to find, and the best way to find it is with good airflow, and then everything else is going to start working around. Try harder reeds. Sometimes harder reeds are good to work on your sound, to give you a little extra back pressure. Try different mouthpieces, but if you like one, if you like something specific, work with the setup that you have. This is really going to help you. Okay, so let me know if this was useful, and stay tuned for next week's video. I'll be posting more saxophone videos as well. Now, if you want to work privately with me, I do have a high-level coaching program where I work with just a small group of students, one-on-one, and we work on your saxophone technique, sound, improvisation skills, melodic language, and really boost your performance skills as fast as possible so that you can get that confidence with your horn, both in technique and in melodic ideas and improvisation. That way you can unlock the beautiful things that happen inside the harmonies, inside tunes, so that you can play with a good language and start becoming a more advanced and better musician. If you're interested, just go to my Instagram, Lorenzo Ferrero Music, and simply send me a DM or private message with the word coach. You can also do that on Facebook or Instagram, Lorenzo Ferrero Music. Send me a message, a DM with the word coach, and I'll send you all the details. We can talk and see if this program, it fits your needs and how we can adjust it to you, because it's all customizable. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.